Alrighty guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Saw Shop. It's about 9:30. We out here in the shop. We decided to go ahead, pull this G366 down, give it a look at, get an idea of what we're going to do. Go ahead, start modding a few things on it. I'll probably go ahead and, against everything my body is telling me, I'm going to go ahead and put the video up. I told y'all I'd bring y'all along with this. There's some stuff that I'm not going to get into, such as when we start doing the carburetor. We're going to be drilling that. We're going to be drilling it. I'll show you what we're drilling, but I cannot say how much we're going to drill it or where we end up with drilling it. Cylinder wise, I'm not going to release any numbers on the cylinder. I'll let y'all know what squish is. I'll let y'all see what we do to the chamber. Let you see what we do to the transfers. But I won't be putting any numbers out there with this build, just because there's other people building against us. And I don't want nobody to get themselves in trouble thinking they can do stuff like this. So, first things first, I'm going to go ahead and show y'all this cylinder. The cylinder is not bad. I mean, it needs some cleanup work. Transfers the itty bitty. But the intake, look at this. See that little hole? Look how much we got to work with there. And this is stock. So I think the only way we're going to be able to lower the intake any is by machine work. I don't even know what the numbers on this thing is yet. I have not checked. The exhaust, you see that black ring around it? That is the heat shield. That is how much of this port that's not working. So we're definitely going to be opening it up to match that so we can get all the flow we can get out of it. It's got a good shape for a work saw, but we're probably just going to widen it up and raise it. Like I said, the intake, we'll probably give it some lungs, get that dimple out of there if we ain't getting close to blowing through nothing. We'll lower this floor a little bit just to shape this thing right. But as far as lowering the port, doubt we're going to be able to without machine work. Carburetor, we are going with the MS460 carb. My carb was made backwards just like everybody else's. We're going to go ahead, swap our choke stuff out from the 361 carb to the 460 carb. And we're going to build this thing. We'll have to swap this plate over to this. And then we'll go ahead and build this all, and we'll run it just with the stock stock jet sizes, and we're running on gas to start with. As far as the crankshaft, I honestly think I'm going to leave this Farmertech crank in this saw for now. We got the OEM crank in case anything happens. But, testing purposes, I just want to know, have they changed the cranks? Will these cranks hold up to some decent horsepower? Well, we're going to find that out. Intake boot. I think I'm going to order an OEM intake boot. I've never had good luck with these aftermarket ones. It's like this flange is not thick enough. I used to take an O-ring and put behind the flange so it would hold it out a little bit, and it would smash against that O-ring and let that flange stick out just a smidge. But I think I'm going to go ahead and order an OEM boot, see how it compares to this one. We got a set of seals and bearings coming just in case, and gaskets in case we do the crank swap and all that good stuff. But I think we're going to run with it brung in the mail for right now. We are going to be changing the fuel line. We're going to be putting an OEM fuel line in here just because of the alternate fuel that we're going to be running. The piston that came out of it looks pretty decent. We could definitely shave some weight off of it, open the windows up, but we ordered that Duke's piston, moly coated, so we're going to go ahead, save this piston. We're going to go ahead and we're going to grind on that moly coated piston and get it pretty light. I'm going to take a little bit of weight off of it. Alright. I'm going to go ahead, insert clip of video right here, and then I'll come back, show y'all what we ended up with. But we're pretty much going to take all the fins down that we can, pretty much to this level here. Once we get flush with that, knock these 4 fins off, and we got all of these cut down to the same depth. Same with these 3. We're going to be taking those 3 off. Pretty much just getting a bunch of the weight off of this thing. That way it should turn up a little faster. Alright. Now that you've seen that, this shit will get you in trouble. So I don't advise doing anything messing with flywheels. And here's why. Here's what we ended up with. Alright. So we shave this down till we just barely knock them fins off. And these are what they are. And we shaved this down and got it trued up. And we faced it. So, you see all these voids? All those voids are pits where they sand cast this thing. Sand casted, clay casted, something. I would assume sand or similar, since you're looking at the little BBs. if you don't take your time and let the cutter work and don't push it, you'll snap one of these fans off, and that lathe turning 200, 300, 400 RPM snaps one of these fans off, and it's turning your way. That's a projectile that could wind up in your jugular and really make you have a bad day. Probably a bad month, week, if you get lucky. The problem is when you mess with flywheels, you get these pits in them. I don't even know if I'm going to use this flywheel now. Because when you start turning crazy RPMs in a saw, you do not want this thing coming apart. This is, I don't even know at this point. I wasn't even going to show this. But it's a beware thing. You gotta learn, you gotta know. If you don't know and you just go to do it, you're just gonna go with whatever it is. The only reason why I'm feeling half okay with this is because where the worst pits are, this is the opposite side of the magnets. And that's where you got it pretty much poured solid around the fins, just so they could balance it and get the weight right. We didn't do anything to the back. We just knocked these fins off. Took about 20, 25 thou off the OD here, just to smooth it up and get it trued up, running straight. But guys, be careful, please. Be careful when you start messing with these things. It's cold. My nose is running like crazy. Now I gotta go in and kiss my daughter goodnight. She's gotta go to school in the morning. Be careful. Get OEM flywheels. If you're gonna be turning crazy RPMs and you know it, get a freaking OEM flywheel. That way you don't take a chance of one of these coming apart and killing somebody. But we lightened it up quite a bit. You guys have a great night. Come back and see what we got next in store for this thing. Dubs, we out.